Like, it is a basketball play, and an Angel goes flying. Angel gets hit, in fairness, and she just flies. And then jumps up and tries to go at her. She tries to charge her down while Caitlyn walks away. Like, it's nothing. It's absolutely...
Angel, can you take us through the flagrant foul from your perspective? Just what you saw in that play, how you interpreted what happened.
Basketball play, refs got it right.
The highly anticipated WNBA matchup between the Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky just became the most recent chapter in the Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese story, and people were not let down. What we saw was not merely a basketball match. Rather, it was a masterclass in creating outrage when the Indiana Fever versus Chicago Sky showdown brought us more than just Caitlin Clark's triple-double genius. It delivered the Angel Reese tantrum special, served hot with a side of please look at me instead of the score. You're getting completely destroyed on the scoreboard.
Here it is right here. She comes in, just a little grab around her, trying to kind of hold her, really.
Afterwards, has
and
something
Angel
to say
Reese
as Clark
loses her mind.
Away.
I mean, if you can't tell me there is not
around
true
the matchups between
animosity,
Reese and
jealousy,
Clark
and
Angel
agenda
Reese,
ate up right there with that player, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, that was a big nothing. Wow.
With a final score of 93-58, the Indiana Fever are completely dominating the Chicago Sky. It's like a demolition derby on hardwood, and you're wondering if the scoreboard operator fell asleep during the match. With more than 4 minutes remaining in the third quarter, amid this basketball slaughter, an attacking rebound is grabbed by Angel Reese. Caitlin Clark commits a take foul, just as any other basketball defender would.
Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark, and it's so obvious. You don't give this type of reaction for a common foul. That is a regular basketball foul. Caitlin Clark hit ball, but Angel Reese decided to flop like she's Draymond Green and act like she got shot in the streets and hood of Chicago. But then when you ask a question after the game in the press conference, you say basketball play, refs got it right, move on. But you clearly had a hard time moving on after that foul. And Caitlin Clark threw some shade at Angel Reese, rightfully so. That's just a good take foul. Either you let Angel get a wide open two-pointer, which I don't think she was going to make. Have you seen her lay a package? Or you send her to the free throw line and make her earn those points. Anybody who played any type of ounce of competitive...
The way Angel Reese is reacting, you'd think Caitlin just dropped her puppy. She's stomping around, pointing fingers, and giving the referee a death glare. Angel Reese did not appreciate that cunning play. She explodes instantly, arms flailing in disbelief, face contorted in outrage, and barking at the referee. Directed directly at Clark, the referees, who were obviously terrified by the intensity of Reese's ire, elevated it to a flagrant one for what basketball players refer to as Tuesday, which is what every coach in America instructs their players to do for what occurs in every game in basketball history.
Basketball play, refs got it right.
She just said basketball play, refs got it right. She could have, like, it could have been worded worse. It could have been worded worse. And it was the same thing as she said, basketball play, when she clocked Caitlin Clark in the head. And again, I stand by this. I don't think Angel Reese last year intentionally smacked Caitlin Clark in the head, because at that stage in the year, Angel Reese had gone like 15 games without getting a single block. If Angel Reese tried to hit Caitlin Clark in the head, she would.
During a regular basketball play last year, Caitlin Clark, the same athlete who is busy transforming women's basketball, selling out arenas, and making the WNBA relevant to those who couldn't name 3 teams, responds as though she's trying out for air boot of a soap opera. She charges at the youngster with the same ferocity she should have been using to prevent her team from being completely humiliated on the scoreboard, launching herself at Clark as if she had been launched out of a cannon.
I want y'all to realize that. Now, I heard a lot of people say that I or others have made Angel Reese the villain. Did you not just hear herself call herself the bad guy? She called herself the villain. I'm not making her the villain. She's making herself the villain. And guess who her eyes are on at all times? Caitlin Clark. There's an image from this opening game when Caitlin Clark hits a beautiful fadeaway three-pointer, and the camera pans to Angel Reese, and you would have thought she saw the devil.
While Angel was busy preparing her Oscar submission reel for the most dramatic reaction to a routine basketball game, Clark did the exact same. thing when LSU defeated Iowa in the NCAA championship and retaunted her with the John Cena "you can't see me" gesture. She turns and walks away like she's leaving a bad restaurant review on Yelp quietly and dignifiedly. If you're enjoying this, please subscribe. In her first WNBA game of the regular season, Caitlin Clark scored 20 points and recorded a triple-double. 10 assists and 10 rebounds is the basketball equivalent of attending a combat with a tactical nuclear weapon. Angel Reese's stat line, on the other hand, is 12 points on a miserable 5 of 14 shooting, which is 35% from the field if you're keeping score at home. Apparently, this is a better percentage than her ability to identify a typical basketball play when it happens to her, but she did grab 17 rebounds, so congrats. It's like boasting that you brought an umbrella during a hurricane, but it doesn't change the fact that you're still getting blown away.
This was crazy. Caitlin Clark recorded the first triple-double in a season opener in WNBA history, but are you surprised? Because I'm not. I have to say, there was a couple days when I was thinking, you know what, this guy might be a little difficult with like how scrappy they could be, but then I woke up today and for some reason I had like zero hesitation and full confidence in the Indiana Fever. Venom and I went live, we were talking about it before the game, and I was just like, nope, not.
What does Angel Reese say after all that drama, all that charging, and all that performative fury, though? When the cameras are rolling and the microphones are hot is where it becomes interesting. Let's not make it something that it's not. Pardon me, the same Angel Reese who made a routine foul into the basketball equivalent of the Red Wedding from Game of Thrones now wants to play it cool, she says. Basketball play referees got it right. The player who needed. Let me explain this for those who are not familiar with basketball drama. I realized that I overreacted on national television when we were already losing by 30 points, so now I have to act like I was completely reasonable the entire time. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the main difference between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. Her teammates tried to hold her back, but she suddenly found her cool during the post-game press conference. Depending on which way the camera is pointed, one player modifies the game while the other modifies her story.
There was no need for Angel Reese to jump up and try chase down Caitlin Clark after a relatively hard foul. Like, what Caitlin did wasn't even on the stratosphere of what Diamond DeShields or Kennedy Carter did.
Clark is out here creating history by selling out venues and hitting triple-doubles. Reese is creating conflicts more quickly than fast fashion creates stylish clothing. With her skill, Clark is boosting the entire WNBA, and Reese is attempting to elevate her brand with theatrics reminiscent of the WWE. Let's not forget about the crowd, should we? The Fieldhouse was completely sold out. After all that drama, the entire likely registered on seismic equipment. We counted the janitors.
Because if we're being completely honest, all of this is fine. All of this is high-level competition, passionate basketball. They're frustrated. Caitlin's trying to foul her to avoid a little frickin' layup. Angel's frustrated because her team's losing and she was trying to do the most and her team was just not helping enough. So she's frustrated. She wants to go up for the layup. She gets off balance because of this foul. Caitlin does a little shove at the end. It doesn't look malicious, but it definitely was a shove with the left hand. Angel falls to the ground. She's pissed off, again, because she's frustrated. Just like we've seen every other player in the WNBA at times be frustrated. Stands up, turns around, says something. Aaliyah Boston comes, gets in between them, and they all get penalized. Fine. That's all fine.
Call that their rivalry dates back to their college days. After LSU defeated Iowa to win the national title, Angel taunted Clark with the "you can't see me" gesture, which Clark had made earlier in the tournament. The difference is this: once a brilliant play, Reese saved hers to explicitly mock Clark. Once the result was determined, one was competitive fire, the other was premeditated pettiness, and now history is repeated. Reese transforms a basketball play into a stage production, and while Clark concentrates on winning by 35 points, Reese concentrates on winning the attention fight. It's similar to viewing the same movie with small changes, costumes. Even Stephanie White, the head coach of the Fever, saw it for what it was. We're going to be a tough defensive team, and nobody is going to get anything easy against us. I also thought it was a clear play on the ball. This wasn't some vicious attack or a brutal flagrant. This was basketball 101. Don't give up easy money. Make them earn it at the line. It's smart play, not dirty play. But why let basketball intelligence get in the way of a good dramatic moment? Why not focus on your team's complete destruction when you can make the highlight reels for something other than your shooting percentage?
It took is one game for Angel Reese to attack Caitlin Clark. It couldn't be clearer that Angel Reese knows that she is in second place behind Caitlin Clark and she's not going to top her throughout her career. In any basketball game, WNBA, NBA, on the streets, this would be a clear foul. For Angel Reese to react this way is completely out of control, and she deserves to be fined for this. She's always subliminally going after Caitlin Clark in interviews, and there's constantly one thing that we can always look back on that tells the truth that Caitlin Clark is a better player than Angel Reese, and that is the stat board. Game 1, Caitlin Clark brought in the triple-double, and although Angel did have a good game, we will give her that with 12 points and 17 rebounds. 17 rebounds is huge. She definitely did not play.
The referee now clarified why they deemed it a flagrant. We're going with the rule book definition that technically permits us to call this a flagrant because Angel recreated such a scene that not upgrading it would have created an even bigger scene. However, the beautiful irony is that even with the flagrant call, the free throws, and the extra possession, the sky was completely destroyed. The foul on Clark met the criteria for flagrant foul 1 for wind-up impact and follow-through for the extension of the left hand to Reese's back. For what would be lost by 35 rather than 37. The sold-out Gamebridge Fieldhouse exploded in cheers when Reese missed the first shot after all that chaos and stepped to the free throw line, adding the icing on the cake to this ridiculous Sunday. Not courteous cheers, not kind words of support. For the home team cheers that are full-throated and hungry when everyone in the arena is celebrating your defeat, you know you made a mistake. Perhaps you aren't the protagonist of this tale, or perhaps the heel turn in wrestling isn't going as planned.
I need that triple-double. Go to the board, Taylor!
Clark was busy writing history, while Reese was busy writing her confrontation story. The basketball equivalent of showing up for your first day of work and casually resolving issues the company has faced for years is a triple-double in your WNBA debut. 20 points, 10 assists, and 10 rebounds, it's not just. If basketball were a discussion, that would be a statement that is not only remarkable, but historic, and it was achieved in a 35-point thumping victory. While Reese attempted to interrupt with a TikTok dance, Clark was giving a TED lecture. Naturally, we now get to enjoy the aftermath, with every American sports program talking about the altercation. When your team is behind by enough points to be considered a felony in some states, and the rookie you've been compared to is outperforming you like the sun outshines a dollar store flashlight, every analyst breaks down the moment, and every social media account posts the highlight, which is actually exactly what Angel Reese wanted all along. How do you make a moment happen? You create a story such that, instead of discussing how poorly your team lost or how well Clark performed, tomorrow's sports broadcasts would focus on you yelling at Clark following a standard basketball game.
Reese understands that she is in a completely one-sided beef with Caitlin Clark. Like, I don't think Caitlin Clark could give less of a fuck about Angel Reese's existence. And yet Angel Reese tries so hard to make this a thing, to make this like rivalry a thing when it really doesn't exist. And this was a normal ass foul, by the way. Like, this was a normal hard foul, send them to the line. And I mean, Angel Reese flops the shit out of this. I mean, look at her flail her arm, and look at Caitlin Clark's arm. It's not even whatever. And then Angel Reese is trying to get into like her face after this foul, and yet Caitlin Clark is just walking away. she just turns around and walks away, you know, as if it's a normal foul, which it was. And yet Angel Reese, you could read her lips. She was like saying, oh, "She's trying to fight, bro. She's trying to fight." And it's like, I genuinely don't think Caitlin Clark could care less about you. She does not care about your like you are in a one-sided beef. It is all in your head, Angel. This rivalry that you think is you are not on the same level. And I don't think she cares in any capacity. I wish I could be as delulu as you, because what you think is a rivalry.
This is a strategic drama. We've seen this before. When Angel is unable to win on the court, she ensures that she wins in the post-game coverage when the scoreboard isn't in her favor. When basketball isn't providing her with the spotlight, she creates one for herself. It's a calculated conflict, the basketball equivalent of a politician saying something outrageous when they're quickly losing the polls. Possess the most illuminating aspect of this whole story. I don't know what the referee saw to improve it, and that's up to them, but Clark's response was straightforward, no flamboyant remarks, no Twitter fingers poised to retaliate, and then This pivotal sentence, it's already a heated situation, and I wasn't attempting to do anything malicious. That's not the kind of player I'm sitting in the third quarter of this basketball game. At the moment, Indiana Fever and Kayla Clark are putting the "I'm telling you now" beats on the Chicago Sky since it's not even close right now. Angel Reese is enraged because she wants to make it her mission to defeat Caitlin Clark this year. Caitlin Clark's 3 South hit. The difference, ladies and gentlemen, is that you look like young Steph K. One participant concentrates on basketball, while the other concentrates on the basketball theater. One player lets her game speak, while the other ensures that her responses garner all the media attention at the end of the day. Scoreboard read over 93, Chicago Sky 58, a crushing 35-point victory. This ought to have been the sole tale. Angel Reese's attempt to win the title of most dramatic reaction to a basketball play created a manufactured moment that threatened to overshadow the main event, even though Caitlin Clark's triple-double should have been the only headline. This was done specifically to guarantee that Reese's name would appear alongside Clark's in every headline, tweet, and sports show. Portion, and perhaps that's the true triumph. In the attention economy, where losing by 35 points can still be considered a success if you're trending for all the wrong reasons, Angel was playing all along, not the one on the scoreboard, which she knew was already gone, but the victory. Anyway, so she signed with Kane Clark. She signed my autograph. My life is finished. Here is a replay. As the WNBA season goes on, keep in mind what you saw today. Sometimes the most frustrating strategic plays occur when someone believes that being remembered for an overreaction is preferable to being forgotten in a blowout loss. They don't happen during a basketball game. While Caitlin Clark's play is revolutionizing women's basketball, others are attempting to remain relevant by making ordinary moments into dramatic moments. Keep in mind that while one player is playing at a higher level, another is playing at a higher level. The Indiana Fever didn't just defeat the yesterday's Chicago Sky. Caitlin Clark did more than simply outperform. Not all disorder was conquered. By the Angel reclass, the difference between a player who aspires to be great and one who merely wants to be noticed ironically by working so hard to be noticed was what we saw. Angel Reese made clear who she